Today, we have a very special guest, entrepreneur, inventor, and visionary Elon Musk. Elon, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Andrew. Happy to be here.
So Elon, what inspired you to pursue a career in technology and entrepreneurship?
Well, Andrew, I've always been fascinated with technology since I was a child. I would take apart things just to see how they worked, and I was always tinkering with electronics. I started my first software company when I was just 12 years old, and it's been a passion of mine ever since.
Now, Elon, you've been in the news a lot lately, and not always for positive reasons. There have been allegations of mistreatment of workers at your factories, questions about your leadership style, and of course, your controversial tweets. Let's start with the allegations of mistreatment of workers. What do you have to say about that?
Well, Andrew, I take the safety and well-being of my workers very seriously. We have rigorous safety protocols in place at all of our factories, and we work closely with unions and government agencies to ensure that we're meeting all of the standards.
But there have been reports of workers being forced to work long hours, sometimes in dangerous conditions. How do you respond to that?
Look, we're constantly striving to improve our processes and make our factories as safe and efficient as possible. We invest billions of dollars in automation and other technologies to reduce the need for human labor, and we're always looking for ways to do better.
You mentioned your investment in automation. Some critics say that you're prioritizing profits over people, and that your push for automation is actually putting people out of work. What's your response to that?
Well, I believe that automation is the future of manufacturing, and that is going to create new opportunities for workers. But I also recognize that there are real concerns about the impact that automation will have on employment. That's why we're working to create new jobs in other areas, like software engineering and data analysis.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about your leadership style. There have been reports that you can be difficult to work with, and that you don't always treat your employees with respect. What do you have to say about that?
Look, I'm not going to pretend that I'm always the easiest person to work with. I have high standards, and I push myself and my team to achieve great things. But I also recognize that it's important to treat people with respect and to create a culture of collaboration and openness.
Some people say that your tweets are a reflection of your leadership style, that you can be impulsive and erratic. What's your take on that?
I know that sometimes that my emotions get the best of me, and I can be a bit impulsive on social media. But I also think that Twitter is an important platform for me to communicate with my customers, my shareholders, and the public at large. I try to be as transparent and honest as I can, even if that means it'll be controversial.
Well, speaking of controversial tweets, let's talk about some of the recent ones. You've been accused of spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine and of making insensitive comments about pronouns. What do you have to say about those?
Look, I'm not perfect, and I make mistakes. I also believe in free speech and the importance of open dialogue. I think it's important to have conversations about these issues, even if they're difficult or controversial. And as for the vaccine, I believe that people should have the right to make their own decisions about their health.
Elon, you're known for your incredible achievements in the tech industry, from co-founding PayPal to founding SpaceX and Tesla. What's the driving force behind your success?
Well, Andrew, I think it's a combination of factors. First and foremost, I have a relentless drive to achieve my goals, even if they seem impossible. I'm not afraid to take risks, and I'm willing to put in the hard work and long hours to make things happen.
That's really interesting. Can you tell us about a time when you faced a particularly challenging obstacle and how you overcame it?
Sure. One example that comes to mind is when we were launching the Falcon 1 rocket with SpaceX. We had 3 failed attempts, and we were running out of money. It was a really difficult time, and I was under a lot of pressure to deliver, but instead of giving up, I rallied the team and we worked together to find a solution. We analyzed every aspect of the rocket and the launch process, and we made some key changes that ultimately led to a successful launch. It was a really proud moment for me and the team, and it taught me the importance of perseverance and teamwork.
That's a great example of resilience and problem solving. How do you maintain that growth mindset in the face of failure or setbacks?
I think it's important to remember that failure is just a temporary setback. It's an opportunity to learn from your mistakes and come back stronger. I also try to surround myself with people who challenge me and push me to be better, whether it's my colleagues at SpaceX or my family and friends. And I think it's important to always have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. With your goal in mind, it's easier to stay focused and motivated, even when things get tough.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears a bit and talk about leadership. You've built some incredible teams at SpaceX and Tesla. What's your approach to leadership? How do you inspire your teams to achieve greatness?
I think it starts with hiring the right people. I look for team members who are passionate about what they do and have a strong work ethic and desire to learn and grow. Once I have a great team in place, I try to lead by example, setting high standards for myself and expecting the same from my team. I also try to create an environment where people feel empowered to take risks and make decisions on their own. I believe that when people feel trusted and valued, they're more likely to take ownership of their work and produce their best results.
That's great advice. Finally, what's next for you? Elon, what are your big goals for the future?
Well, I'm always looking for new challenges and opportunities to make a positive impact on the world. Right now, we focus on developing sustainable energy solutions and making humanity a multiplanetary species with SpaceX. But there's always more to do, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Elon, you mentioned you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. Can you share more about how you develop and maintain that vision?
Sure. I think it's important to have a long-term goal that's ambitious and inspiring, but also achievable with hard work and dedication. For me, the vision is to make life multiplanetary, to establish a human presence on Mars and beyond, and to make sustainable energy the primary source of power on Earth. To maintain that vision, I try to stay focused on the big picture, while also being adaptable and willing to adjust my approach as needed. I'm constantly reading and researching to stay up to date on the latest developments in my fields of interest, and I seek out those perspectives and feedback from others to help refine my ideas.
You've also been a pioneer in sustainable energy with companies like Tesla and SolarCity. Can you speak more about your vision for a sustainable future and the role technology plays in achieving that?
Absolutely. I believe that the transition to sustainable energy is the most important challenges facing humanity. Fossil fuels are a finite resource that are causing irreparable harm to our planet, and we need to transition to clean and renewable energy sources as soon as possible. Technology has a crucial role to play in achieving this transition. And when companies like Tesla and SolarCity are developing innovative solutions that make it easier and more cost-effective to adopt sustainable energy. From electric cars and solar panels to energy storage solutions, we're working to make sustainable energy more accessible to everyone, but it's not just about technology. We also need strong policies and incentives that support the transition to sustainable energy. That's why I'm an advocate for carbon pricing and other policy measures that encourage use of renewable energies.
That's a great point about the interconnectedness of these issues. You're known for your willingness to take risks and push boundaries. How do you manage the fear of failure? And what advice would you give to others who are afraid to take risks?
Fear of failure is a natural human emotion, and is something that I've certainly experienced throughout my career. I try to view failure as an opportunity to learn and grow, rather than something to be avoided at all costs. My advice to others would be to embrace failure as a natural part of the process. Don't be afraid to take risks, even if there's a chance you might fail. The key is to learn from your mistakes, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward. It's also important to have a strong support system, whether it's a team of colleagues, friends, or family members who can offer encouragement and advice when you need it.
You mentioned Neurallink, which is one of your most recent ventures. Can you tell us more about what inspired you to start Neuralink and what you hope to achieve with it?
Andrew, Neuralink is a company that's focused on developing brain-machine interfaces. The goal is to create a direct link between the human brain and computers, which could have a wide range of applications, from helping people with neurological disorders to enhancing human cognition and abilities. The idea for Neuralink actually came from a conversation I had with a friend of mine who recently had a brain implant. I was fascinated by the potential brain-machine interfaces and how it could change the way we interact with technology. So I decided to start Neuralink to explore this area further and try to make some breakthroughs in the field.
That's really interesting. What kind of progress have you made with Neuralink so far?
We've made some significant progress in developing our technology. We've developed a system that can read signals from the brain at a very high level of detail. We've also developed a surgical robot that can implant our devices with high precision and minimal invasiveness. We've also done some retesting with animals and have seen some promising results.
That's really impressive. What kind of applications do you see for this technology in the future?
There are a lot of potential applications for brain-machine interfaces. One of the most promising areas is in helping people with neurological disorders such as Parkinson's disease or spinal cord injuries. By creating a direct link between the brain and computers, we could potentially restore lost function and improve quality of life for these patients. Another area of interest is in enhancing human cognition and abilities. For example, we could use brain-machine interfaces to help people learn new skills more quickly or to improve their memory and attention span. There are also potential applications in virtual and augmented reality, gaming, and other areas.
That's really fascinating. Now let's talk about your other recent venture, the Boring Company. What inspired you to start a company that's focused on developing underground transportation systems?
The idea for the Boring Company actually came from my frustration with traffic. I'm stuck in traffic one day, and I thought there has to be a better way to move people and goods around cities. So I started thinking about how we could use tunnels to create a faster, more efficient transportation system. The name of Boring Company is actually a bit of a joke because tunnels can be seen as boring. Anything but boring. We're developing new tunneling technologies that can make tunneling faster and cheaper than ever before. And we're also exploring new transportation concepts such as hyperloops that could revolutionize the way we move around.
That's really exciting. What kind of progress have you made with the Boring Company so far?
We've made some significant progress in developing our tunneling technology. We've developed a tunnel boring machine that's faster and more efficient than anything that's currently in the market. And we've also done some testing with our first tunnel in Las Vegas, which is being used to transport people around the city's convention center. We're also working on developing new transportation concepts, such as the Hyperloop, which is a high-speed transportation system that uses vacuum sealed tubes to move people and does their speeds of up to 700 miles per hour. We've already done some testing with the Hyperloop prototype, and we're continuing to explore this area further.
That's really exciting. You've also been very vocal about your concerns regarding the future of artificial intelligence. Can you tell us more about your views on AI and what you think we should be doing to address these concerns?
I think that has the potential to be incredibly powerful and transformative, but it also poses some very real risks. If we're not careful, we can end up creating an AI that's much smarter than us and that could potentially pose a threat to human existence. I think we need to be proactive in addressing these risks and ensuring that AI is developed in a way that's safe and beneficial for humanity. That's why I founded OpenAI, a research company focused on developing safe and beneficial AI. We're also working on developing new regulatory frameworks and guidelines to ensure that is developed in a responsible and ethical way.
Well, we're out of time for today, but I want to thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew. It's been a pleasure.